Bonjour, mes enfants, c'est votre uncle. Yes, it's Uncle Dan, the Vinyl Man. Here, I've taken over Ricefield Records channel, so yeah, it's mine now. I own it. So he may be around somewhere. What the heck going on? What going on? I don't know what going on. I don't know what going down. Something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. Just call me Mr. Jones. I got kids back here.
Oh my goodness, are you on a live stream?
Well, I'm on a live stream.
Well, look at this fine house.
Look at this fine house. I've got my.
Streaming? Yeah, Teresa. Well, YouTube famous. Well, look at these fine people on the live stream. Well, look at this.
I'm being rickrolled. Do you? I don't know what's happening here. Yeah. And there's something going on too, because I hear this song, me and Mrs. Jones. They got a thing going on, and so I'm like, I'm Mr. Jones, and he got a thing going on with Mrs. Jones. Where the heck is Ricefield? Mr. Field is around. He was trying to go outside and play outside, and he wasn't getting it done. So yeah, I have children with me. Well, they're pretty grown up.
Where's the camera? Where's the camera?
Where's the camera? Over there. That's the camera. Look, you're not looking at the camera.
Oh,
here we are looking over the laptop. There's Grace.
So yeah.
Hi.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. He's supposed to be here. Rice remote. I'm gonna add Rice remote. Can I add you to the stream remote?
Had some technical difficulties today.
It wasn't enough that he couldn't do it last time. He's got to try again. If at first he doesn't succeed, fail again.
That's true. Can you see me?
You are a silhouette.
Just a second.
Daniel,
Lord. Hold on. Can you? How's it now?
You're frozen. Now you're there.
Frozen, huh? Okay. So
now you're pretty patchy.
Pretty patchy, huh? Maybe it's the sun. All right, I'm gonna go in. I'll have to go inside.
Okay, so
still no good, huh?
Well, a little better.
No good. Let me make sure my Wi-Fi is on. Hold on. No, Wi-Fi is on. How's it now? No good? No good?
You're doing okay. I saw this thing the other day. I saw this video that somebody put up. It said, get to your point in like a minute or a minute and a half. Now, I don't know. So, Susan says you are fine.
I know I'm fine.
Yeah. And
so Yes, you are right. You are right to observe that fact. I had some technical difficulties.
The finitude, the fineness, the
I need to tell you, I've admitted.
Okay. Man, you're frozen. This is working as well as it did last week.
Use my
okay. No, I got
1 minute.
What are those things he's wearing on his lower? Oh my God, that's a hell of a thing for the video to pause on. I'll tell you that, Michael. I don't know where the heck Bobby is again. We have a debate, and the debate is whether to be a member of the vinyl community, you have to expend all of your discretionary income and then some on records, turntables, cartridges, etc. Or whether you can actually just sit back and relax what you have and still remain a member of the vinyl community. It's like point counterpoint. If you remember from point counterpoint from 60 minutes ago with two people whose names I can't remember now. So yeah, that's it. So yeah. Yeah, that's what we all needed, wasn't it, Breakfast King? The freeze frame on the crotch shot. Yeah, that was, I know that really made my day. So yeah. Yeah, there is no vinyl community. It's a figment of our. I need something to riff on. Am I freezing? Yeah. Well, I probably got a couple of kids here.
Test.
You are testing this. Yes. My patience has been sorely tested. And I'm echoing now. Yeah, I can do that. We do that is our topic, by the way, is, what do you have? Can you be a member of the vinyl community? I'm having trouble getting this. There's some guy who's trying to get his stuff together. And
permission to speak like a 16-year-old girl, please. You ready?
Oh, totally. Like totally.
Today has been the worst day of my life. You have no idea. You have no idea. First of all, look at my lighting. It sucks. And I tried to set up outside. That didn't work. And some guy on a steel guitar was like, he was torturing me.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens to you.
Look how many people we have here.
I don't know. How many do we have?
We have 12. That's quite a number.
Okay.
I wanted
I
to
like some questions. I like questions and not just about why does Michael keep doing those things. By the way, please observe my new bolo tie here.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Handmade by Uncle Dan. So
Out of seashells and scrimshaw?
no, it's a stone from K2, the big mountain in Pakistan. Oh yeah, it's called K2 stone.
Very
so I
nice.
picked it up. Susan and I actually found that at a rock shop in it was Twin Cities. So and I turned it into a bolo tie. So
Very nice. Very nice. I have a topic today.
and you're. Do we want to start with the topic, or do we start? Are we starting that topic because you don't have any new acquisitions again? Again. Once more, you failed us, and so now you want you want to be excused from your failure. I understand that. Yeah. You screwed up, and you want to say I meant to do that. You're like Pee Wee Herman. I meant to do that. Yeah, I know.
Lord helps the person who you are deposing. I left my records outside, so can you just? I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Okay.
Keep them hot.
Yeah. Do we have any questions? Anybody have any questions for me? Yeah, wanna, or just or you want to just, you want to just shake your money maker, huh? Is that it? Yeah, I got a gal, she just won't be true. She got to the place, she won't do a thing I tell her to. She won't shake her money maker. That's right. Yeah. So 28, 29. Yeah, I need that. Yeah. You need to shake your money maker. Is that it? Yeah. That's it. Okay. So actually, I guess Rice does have Mr. Ricefield is out of the back end for the rice patties, and
that joke is so old. So
that's
old.
the best. Gets a little older. Dave may use it.
So I went to a record fair this week, and no, I didn't buy anything.
Was it
But I made
Scarborough
a great
Fair?
video. I made a great video.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And I wanted to talk about this pressure in the vinyl community about buying records all the time. It's a lot of pressure. We don't have to do
Peer
that.
pressure. Peer pressure.
It's peer pressure.
That's right.
We have to.
You gotta-
We have to enjoy the stuff we got. You know what I mean?
Well, no, because what you have isn't good enough. There's
Well,
always
I
something.
don't know about that, but I'd like to talk about what I've been listening to this week. And one thing that I've been listening to this week, because I was inspired by you with David Lindley, and I hadn't really given this record enough attention. And I realized something, that this record,
I can't see it.
Jesus, God damn it. Good God.
Jesus Christ on a crutch. Yeah, that's going to be worse now. Oh, there you go. It's not going to be a lot better.
This is the worst lighting. I'm so embarrassed. This record by Tim Buckley, Greetings from LA. Have you ever heard of this? So this is can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. You're so quiet. You just scared me. Silence is disarming. Greetings from LA by Tim Buckley is a bawdy record. And it's a lot like David Lindley. because he's got these great backup singers. The first track is called Move With Me, and it's a song about him going to a bar with the sole intent of picking up a woman. And of course, it's Move With Me, and he sees a beautiful woman at the bar, and they're moving together. And of course, her big boyfriend comes in, and that kind of concludes the song. But it's got these great backup singers, Vanetta Fields, Clyde King. I mean, these were great '60s backup singers. Chuck Rainey on bass. He's even got a dancer in the credits, Alina. And this is not a folky record at all. It's bawdy. Is that a good word to use? Bawdy?
I ain't got nobody. Oh, sorry.
No, that's
That was a
that's
joke. That was
yeah.
a joke.
Okay. So another record that I listened to this week is this one. Mavis Staples.
Oh yeah.
Okay? Great singer. Look at that tear.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
obviously it's a song about love, and it has got. I've learned to do without you, and how many times. This is a Stax record. It was recorded at Muscle Shoals, and it is just it's in the spirit of. I don't know, Diana Ross and who's that? I'm trying to think of some other singers. Of course, you don't know.
Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight.
Gladys Knight. It's really in the spirit of Gladys Knight. And I see Scotty Dog in the audience today, who is a fantastic singer and a guy who performs like you do on a live stream. He's got a really high voice, really great singer, and he's from Long Island, just like me. So that's another record. Long Island, yes. That's another record that I've listened to this week. Another record that was. If I'm boring you, just let me know. Another record that I'm listening to this week is this one. Okay. And did you know that this lyric sheet, when it was printed and released, was soaked in lavender? I can see you're laughing in the background, you son of a bitch. Soaked in lavender. And my copy it still has 50 years later, it still has a little hint of lavender. Are you highlighting any of these comments here? Because I'm sure people
No, I'm not.
It's a pithy thing. You should be.
Yeah. Long Island, yes.
Now, I've done a video about her recently, and a guy commented about her and said that what she did that was so special was she changed tempo so many times in his songs. And I realized he was right. And I believe this is her. I don't think this is her. I think this is her second album. This has got Eli's Coming and Stone Soul Picnic.
I have that one, yeah.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah.
Because the important thing about having records is listening to them, not buying them. Showing them to me.
Oh, come on, Michael. You have them and you put them in your, and then they're in your background of your shots, and so you establish that when you're in the vinyl community and you're doing your videos, they establish your credibility. You must have that. It's like having your diplomas on the wall.
This week, I also gave good consideration to this fellow, Little Milton. Do you know Little Milton?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really
He's a good guitar player.
Yeah, it's a great guitar player. Terrifically underrated. Terrifically. Yeah.
You know what's weird about this?
Really, really soulful guitar player.
Look at that jacket cover. Notice the scale of this photo. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like she's kind of like a big woman in a little house. It's kind of like she's like in a dollhouse. You see that? Is that weird scale?
Yeah.
Weird.
No, it's interesting. And there, that's one of those I could have done that for my male gaze thing. It's quite voyeuristic. Yep. That's quite a voyeuristic image there.
She's waiting for him. She's waiting for little Milton to come home from work.
Yeah.
Because she has needs.
Or that, or she's looking out to see who's the creepy peeping Tom out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the two.
Or she's waiting for little Milton's best friend to come by.
Yeah.
That would suck. Okay. Yeah. He does the Thrillers.
Susan, I don't know who might have told you that.
Oh, Rhinebeck. Rhinebeck's a big glass area.
Well, Scott, you're in Texas. You're in Texas.
Know that.
You ought to be able to. I thought everybody from Texas was a performer.
We're talking two different people. Scott Dog and Scotty Dog are two different people. Should I take a break from the records? You want to? Should take a little breather?
No, let's get through them. Let's be done with this. My God, it's like
it's an excruciating.
We've got you racked up for a while. Let's leave the rack. We'll be done racking you, but for a minute, we're going to have a little coffee break while you're there on the rack. Come on.
Okay. I'm coming. I'm hurrying up.
I also listen to Iron Maiden, and I don't mean the band.
Who dat?
Bobby Blue Bland. Yeah,
That's right. Now, I picked this up.
Bobby Blue Bland. He after BB and others were playing for white audiences, Bobby Blue Bland continued to play for primarily African American audiences. He was continuing to be, continuing to be an important figure for African Americans long after BB's audience, BB's buddies, their audiences started becoming all white. Bobby Blue Bland was still playing for black audiences.
I didn't know that. I really did. Actually, there is a video that I included on something with Bobby Blue Bland, and I noticed that it was late in life, and he was performing with his band, a stellar band, and I noticed that the audience was all African Americans, and I kind of noted that.
Yeah. I mean, he's. So I only have one Bobby Blue Bland album, and I really need to find more. But a lot of stuff I used to just pick up, and you just didn't find him in the record bins. I used to not find him in the record bins. I had to go out and look for stuff because he was I think Little Milton was kind of the same way. They were both continuing to play for African American audiences when the other guys had gone to white audiences. One of my big loves, Hop Wilson, the great lap steeler, great lap steel guitarist, Hop Wilson. He also continued. I mean, he recorded a few records, a few 45s, but he lived the rest of his life just playing down in the bars in Houston. And playing for
I don't
black
know Hop Wilson. I don't know him, but if I come across his records, I'll pick one up. That's what I really.
I mean, I've been meaning to do a video on Hop Wilson because terribly underrated, but much loved among guitarists, much loved by guitarists for his really interesting. His "Merry Christmas, Darling" is I think the definitive version of that chestnut.
Huh.
So, and he's got this voice that sounds really utterly weary, like he's just, man, he's seen everything a couple of times, and he's, but he's still kind of hanging on.
Guitar player, piano player, or just vocalist? Oh, steel guitar. You told me that.
Yeah, he was steel.
I'll work on my listening.
Yeah, work on your listening skills. So.
Just a moment.
Tennessee. What? I placed a jar in Tennessee, and round it was upon a hill. It made the slovenly wilderness surround that hill. little Wallace Stevens there for you.
Got one last one because I realize how boring I'm getting. But
How boring you're getting?
I gave serious listen to, you know, Doug Sam band from Texas, SAHM.
You know, I know, and I need to. I mean, a name that gets brooded around with, knocked around with, you know, a lot of those people, Warren Zevon, and you know, people like that. So I ought to pick him up.
He wrote a song called "At the Crossroads," and Sonny Bono also was a songwriter, as you know, and he wrote a song called "Laugh at Me." You know that song, "Laugh at Me"?
Okay. Yeah, I do. I'm Scott Dog. I'm, you know, frankly, I'm a completely anxious person. I got to have something to do with my hands. So having a beard is a good thing for me. So
if I had a beard, I would be touching it constantly too.
Yeah, practicing. I'm grooming myself. I'm picking the lice out. So 90 miles to a record shop, man, that's worse than mine, man. Manny. I don't have that far to go to a record store. In fact, there was a used record store about 20 miles away. Actually, it's a guitar store too. There was a guy there's got a guitar store and sells used vinyl. 20 miles from here. So nice guy.
What's new with you?
Well, I do have. I did perform my obligation as a member of the vinyl community.
You did.
That's
you spent
because
money. You spent money.
Yes, that's because
Yes,
I
here we
love
go.
my audience. I love our audience. That's why I dress for you. That's why I do the things. I work my fingers to the bone for our audience.
I got something other than gray on today.
Hey, stop there. Don't no farther.
I'm also wearing. I'm also
I said no farther. Oh my
colorful
God.
pants. Look at those colorful pants I got on. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you know, I think how do we make a wellness call here? How do we wellness check that?
I don't think it works internationally.
Yeah, I don't know. It's that or we need to swat. Okay, well, I did pick up a few albums.
I'd love to see them.
I went to a Half Price Books, and I picked up. I found there two greats. Peggy Lee. 14 previously unreleased songs. So got that. This was released in about 1980. So yeah. Yeah. So that. And then a compilation and a reprint of a compilation, A Rendezvous with Peggy Lee, which starts out with her Why Don't You Do Right, which was her first big hit. This was originally from 52, although this was reissued. This is a French pressing out of 84. And it's a little, the vinyl is a little flimsy, and I put it on thinking, well, we'll see how this goes. And I put it on and I dropped the needle on it. And it was almost dead quiet in the run-in. It was excellent. And it sounded great. And I listened to it and listened to particularly to Why Don't You Do Right a couple of times. And Susan was with me. We were listening to it, and it's like, oh man, her phrasing, Peggy Lee's phrasing on Why Don't You Do Right is just so great. I mean, she meant it. It sounds like she was right there, and she just means it, and it's got an edge to it that is. You can just hear the edge and the force, and that's just like, it's just perfect for the era. So it's great. So this is just those are two fun albums. And then I did something that is unusual for old Uncle Dan. I bought
a prog record.
A prog rock record. I said unusual, not bizarre, not inexplicable, not obscene. So I bought a new record. I bought a new record on the day it was released.
Wow.
Uh,
Bob Dylan.
Shadow Kingdom.
I
So
haven't even heard of it.
Released yesterday. This was these were recorded really recorded live for a video that he released last year in 2022, kind of movie, which was he was on YouTube for a while, and I don't know if you can still find it on there. It was not supposed to be there. It was released on, and I forget which streaming platform it was released on, but it was released on a streaming platform. I didn't even know it was coming out at the time, much to my disappointment. But this is really beautifully done. The idea basically was that it was like a concert with him performing a bunch of his older stuff. So you can see that, I've got an accordion and Dylan there, and Dylan did play some guitar. He's not usually playing guitar these days. His arthritis is too bad. When I paint my masterpiece, most likely you go your way. I won't go through them all. A great version of one of my absolutely favorite Bob Dylan songs, Just Like Tom Thumb's Blues. Well, if you've heard, other great YouTubers blabbing about this release all day, well, that implies that I'm a great YouTuber, Marius. So, you need to check that first. I am like, I'm not sure I belong in the vinyl community, or any community, except maybe that one I escaped from a few years ago, but then, they still can't find me. No, this is great. I played this when I brought this home, and I was freaking exhausted. And it was late, and I dropped it. I had to drop the needle on it anyway, and I played it on my big FFYX T224, my big air bearing linear tracking turntable, and turned that on, and Grace and Scarlett are like, Dad, what are you doing? Like, yeah, you got to put up with this a bit, but and then listen to some more today. I think Dylan's, Dylan. Yeah. Question. What's your question?
My question is, where was it recorded? Was it at a venue, or was it staged to look like a live recording?
It was staged to look like a venue.
So he went into the studio and put together a band that's like the early band, and he performed older songs of his catalog.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not putting it down. I'm just trying to understand what it is. Yeah,
he went in and recorded. It had an audience. Had an audience. I don't know how you managed to get tickets to that. I suspect I'd have to sell my house, and quite a bit of plasma to afford them. But he had an audience, a small audience, and recorded that with a band, not his usual band. He doesn't have Tony Garnier, who's been with him for decades now, at least, pushing at least 25 years with Tony Garnier, his great bassist, and really I think his band leader. If you watch videos of Dylan, you'll see Tony Garnier. They're playing bass, stand up or electric bass, and he is just right there and clearly completely freaking in tune with Dylan. But he had a very sympathetic band on this, and people who he had to practice with him, and find people who were just, because everything is turned upside down, like Tombstone Blues, which on Highway 61 Revisited, Tombstone Blues is really fast and driving, and here he slows it down a bunch, and just a really different reading of it. And changed lyrics a bunch on When I Paint My Masterpiece. And just like Tom Thumb's Blues, the lyrics are pretty much the same. I think lyrically one of his, I have no idea what it means, but man, just like Tom Thumb's Blues, right? Anyway, vocally, I saw Dylan in 2017, and I saw him in 2019, and I thought in 2019 he sounded better. There were some rumors floating around, and I don't know if they're true. So I don't know what's going on here.
I'm sorry. Marius had a question for me, and I didn't want to interrupt you. He wanted to know about the weirdest stuff I ever ate in Japan. Yeah. So
anyway,
it's kind of like when the Stones played the El Macombo Club when that was in Toronto. Limited set of people were allowed in, and they recorded. And the recording wasn't released for a long time, for many years. But with Dylan, who knows when he did this? Right? We assume it was this year.
I think it was last year.
Last year, okay,
or maybe 2021. I'm not sure, but it was very recent. But his voice, I think, Dylan, I think, dropped his voice, a bit. He's singing, it's certainly not an octave down, but he's singing like a third or fourth down from where he was, and there were rumors going around that he'd either had surgery or injections, or eating infants or something like that, infant livers or something like that. But anyway, there were rumors going around that he was that he had done something to help out his voice, and some people think he just dropped down into a lower register and found he had some dropping down just a bit gave him some room.
How old is he?
This is I think a great album, and if somebody, I don't know who, I haven't seen what other YouTubers are saying about it. Reviews have been very, very positive, and I love Dylan, so I was pretty much going to love it. But like when I saw Dylan in 2017, I thought it was a great concert. But I was also like, Dylan's voice about gone. I saw him in 2019, and I felt like it was revelatory. I felt like, man, I was so glad that I saw Dylan at that concert, because I was like, that is a people get, a lot of people still get on Dylan for, he changes everything all the time, right? Enough, it's like, he always wants to change stuff up, and some that reams people. He gets reamed for that. People get mad at him about that. But it's first it's Dylan. Let the man do what he wants to do. But it's also like I've come to feel like it's different. Let's see what he. One of the interesting things is the songs can handle that. And he can do it.
Right.
So this is a great album. I really feel like. It's maybe for nostalgia, maybe for something else. It's going to be on best of lists, I think, at the end of the year.
Wow.
Yeah. It's look, there are songs that you just say, well, who else has written like that?
No new material, right? All previously released.
Well, there is a new instrumental at the end.
Okay.
A lot of the lyrics are new. It'll be he's putting new lyrics in. It's the old songs, but he's got new lyrics in, which he usually does.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he messes with lyrics all the time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's like, that's why you want to, he's. This is one, heck, I think it may have been the Rolling Stones review said he's like the opposite of an oldies show, because, he's not doing it just like it was on the record. Far from it. It's not that. So, I'm really, really happy with that. And, that's when I listen to him on my big expensive turntable with, and so. Oh,
What
hell
did it
yeah.
set you back? Was it $75 record, $50 record?
No,
$35?
no, it was $35.
For a 2-record deal. Not
You're right.
bad.
No, yeah, and the I don't know, it's probably got on here, and I don't pay too much attention to that stuff. I mean, I'm buying it anyway, right?
Right.
And it's too, I cannot read it. What it was, yeah, it's I don't know. There's it's, I don't know where it was pressed or anything like that. It's Columbia, so. But Columbia, Columbia's been, Columbia's been doing his stuff right anyway. I got that recent Time Out of Mind, the fragments, the Time Out of Mind box set with the new, remastered. A lot of people criticize Daniel Lanois' mastering of that. So it's remastered, and it's got some outtakes and stuff. And when I put that on, I didn't put it on my big T224, my big FFYX, but I put it on a Sony PSX 600 I have with a brand new stylus on an AudioTechnica, a hyperelliptical stylus on an AudioTechnica O2, good stylus on a good AudioTechnica cartridge. Really great sounding. And I dropped the needle on it, and it was just dead quiet in the run-in. It's really nicely done, and the sound of it is just Columbia really did it upright. So there are people at Columbia who love Dylan, and they're going to do it right. This is not going to be, I just feel like, yeah, you get the new stuff from Columbia. They ain't going to turn out junk. Dylan, look, they're, it's like you can't.
He's always been with Columbia, right? He's never left that label.
No, he was. Where was he? He was with Elektra, for a little while. Planet Waves may have been on that. He had a few. Albums there, 2 or 3 albums. He left Columbia for a little while, and then they lured him back and released Blood on the Tracks. Blood on the Tracks was his first album on Columbia after a few years there, elsewhere, and they were. And you can go out and read and see interviews about what they did to talk about Blood on the Tracks and everything they did. But they were everyone at Columbia was ecstatic to have Dylan back, and they were like, oh man. So they really wanted him back. So he's been on Columbia since then. So yeah, so that's what I got. So that's yeah, no, and I do, Michael, I do want to talk seriously for a moment, which isn't like me.
Okay. Should I make you big, or do you want to do a portrait?
No, I want to answer some questions. Manny, I wouldn't recommend that for the LP3 because the LP3 does not have. Well, you could probably get by with it if you put on. Actually, I'm going to think about it a second. If you use an AudioTechnica cartridge with a microlinear stylus on it, then I would say, yeah, use that on your AT3. The AT3 does not have you cannot adjust the tone arm height. You cannot, and so microlinear, you want to make sure that you have the right, that the stylus is really at the right angle on it. And it does vary from manufacturer to manufacturer. But I'm betting that if you put on either the ATVM 95 ml or the 540, the ATVM 540 ml, that you would be, those I think ought to work with it. work just fine with it. And I don't have it, but a lot of people really love the ATVM95SH, the Shibata. And I've been meaning to get one of those and try it out. A lot of people love those. And a lot of people say it's a little less expensive than the VM540 ML. So you can get into that for right around 200, I think, whereas the VM540 ML is running 280 now.
Oh, they raised the prices.
Yeah, what used to be 250, and they've gone up to 280 now. So the VM95 SH Shibata, a lot of people say is just the absolutely best bang for your buck, and that I think you ought to have no problems with. If you have any concerns, I have both the ATVM95EN and the ATVM530EN, both elliptical nude cartridges, and I think they're spectacular. I think they're great, both of them. I've got that 95, the VM95EN on a Pioneer PL518 turntable, which is, frankly, as good a turntable as I think is. I can be wrong. People can convince me otherwise. And I bought that turntable and I bought a bunch more after that, right? But I don't think you need anything better than that 518, and it sounds great with that VM95EN on it. I love it. So yeah. I'd really consider it. That AT-LP3 is an excellent turntable. There is just no doubt about it. And I think, man, that runs $300 or $200, excuse me, without the Bluetooth on it, without USB or Bluetooth, which I think is, having spent some time with mine now, I think is a great bargain. Is a huge bargain in turntables, for new turntables. I really like it. So I think you've got a good one. Yeah. You can't adjust the azimuth. Yeah, I've got the two microlinears, and they're both on. Well, actually, one's not a microlinear; it's a elliptical, but not a microlinear. And actually, I take it back. I've got a microlinear on an older one, a 440 ml, on a Sony PSX7, which is again another outstanding turntable, and that seems like, and I can't remember if that one. I have to go back and look at it. I don't think it has adjustable azimuth. I think it, but I went ahead and put that on. I put that on, and it sounds really great to me. So I think I'm okay anyway, and it looks good. I've got one of the little acrylic things, and it looks good on that. So I think that one worked out. Audio-Technica, they have been for so long, have really become, they're kind of the, the Ford, the Chevy, the GM, or whatever,
right,
of the world. It's a basic, kind of basic, but anyway, I think that they, like Grado, the Grado cartridges, I bought a Grado cartridge and put it on a Pioneer PL12D2, and it was just a little too tall for it. I had to, I had to get. I bought another head shell that was really shallow. I bought a cheap head shell. Really.
The thing about Audio-Technica is that they have such a huge installed base, and so when you have a huge installed base, when you have questions about it, or you're thinking about buying this one or that one, there's so many people out there who can give you an informed opinion because they own one. And with some of the smaller, more specialized manufacturers like Grado or even Nagaoka, there's not as big an installed base as there is. I mean, it seems like Denon and Audio-Technica are the two biggies.
Ortofon.
Right.
Is
I would
also
say Ortofon and Audio-Technica. Not Denon.
Yeah, in Audio-Technica, I mean, one thing that Audio-Technica has over all of them is, they sell the AT3600L, which is on a ton of stuff. And like Rega sells that. You can buy it for $25 with an Audio-Technica on it, or you can buy it for $75 from Rega with a different one.
They also have a trade-in program, Audio-Technica.
Yeah. Well, some of them do a lot of them do for their moving coils.
Oh, okay, interesting. Oh, that's right. That would make sense.
Yeah. A lot of them you can just send in your old moving coil, and they'll credit you on a new moving coil. So yeah, and yeah, the some people say the microlinears will last longer, and they'll last up to 5. Some people say 800 hours. I don't know. I have so many turntables and cartridges that I figure it's going to be a while before I run out of them.
Microlinear rides lower in the groove, correct? That's the idea about microlinear, that it gets to areas that previous styluses have not damaged.
Yeah. Although,
what about Shibata? Does that do the same thing?
Shibata was really, well, I've read a couple of things about it. The story I read was that the Shibatas were originally designed for quad records.
Interesting. Okay.
And some people argue that the Shibatas really aren't appropriate for stereo, but I've never bought one. I don't know, but there are a lot of people who love Shibatas just for stereo.
They're cut like a pyramid, right? Like a 4-sided pyramid. Is that the idea of Shibata? They have an angle to them.
Yeah, but it's they're they have additional, it's like there are additional cuts on them. It's not exactly like that. So yeah, yeah. I ought to get one. I had to get one. Maybe I'll get the VM95 SH and try it out. But
there's a guy on YouTube. There's a stylus manufacturer in Brooklyn, Peter something, and he's got a great tutorial on YouTube where he describes the different faces, the different points, comparing MicroLine and Shibata and all the others. Peter something, and I think he might be ill. I don't know if they're still producing. Something happened during COVID, but it's a well sought after video on YouTube. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah, and Manny, you're right. The microlinears are supposed to match the.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
The original cutting stylus, and it's supposed to do that. So, and again, I'll go back though and say, I have that, and I keep meaning to send you the information about that Sansui SV27, which is a conical stylus, and I absolutely love the sound of that cartridge in that stylus, and I just love it. And it is, to me, just incredibly satisfying.
A Sansui cartridge.
Yeah, it was manufactured by somebody else. Sansui didn't manufacture their own cartridges, but right. I don't know who manufactured it. And I don't know anybody who does,
Right. Well, it's not made anymore.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they made them, and I keep looking for more SV27s, and I've got others like, I've got the Sansui SV43, which is an Audio-Technica AT10, which was on a ton of stuff out of the 70s. It's a great cartridge. And the SV43 is great, but I like the benefit of the SV43, like the AT10s, is you can put heck, I think you can get nude ellipticals for them, and bonded ellipticals all day long. And I think you can get microlinears for them, Shibatas and microlinears. So, because they have the same body as, I think they have the same body, although maybe different generators from like the AT14s and AT15s, which I haven't tried. I know a guy who's got an AT14. I tried to buy it from him, and he had a bad stylus, and I wanted to buy it from him, but he was going to go. He was going to get a stylus and do it. I bought that AT440 that I have from him, which is a microlinear, and that's great. He's a real nice guy. It's a really, really nice guy. I've bought a few things off of him. good guy, and so yeah, and very very knowledgeable about stuff. So I keep I'm learning from people like that, right? Yeah. Well, although the well, you can't see it because, but I've got to. I'll turn my what did I do here? Yeah, I can't turn my I was smart tonight, and there we go. Yeah, it's still not doing it. Behind my Sears Silvertone
Oh, look at that.
is behind my Sears Silvertone is a console stereo, which sounds great. So I put my little camera on an actual camera tripod tonight. So I've got that going. But yeah. No, we were going to talk about your topic, and we've gone an hour now, haven't we? But let's I want to talk briefly about your topic, which is just enjoy what you have. And thinking of the console stereos, you'll go and I've seen console stereos that will have a cutout in them where you can stack your records and have your records in the cutout.
Yep,
and you might be able to get 40, 50 records in there.
Yep. Sometimes that's all people had. They filled them up and that was it. And
the truth is, I'll listen to stuff, but I listen to a lot of the same stuff over and over.
Me too. But the thing with the vinyl community is you're afraid you're going to bore people with the repetition. And it's like, that's why people feel that they have to show a lot more. And there's this pressure to spend money. And it bugs me. Because I'm really I say it all the time. I like to mine what I've got. And this whole thing about bawdy music, that's the thread that I'm going to be chasing now, because I picked up one record that reminded me of something else that I have, and I realized I like this type of music. And yeah, it's kind of like Zydeco, but it's not really. It's an LA sound. So if I were to buy another record next, it's going to be something that complements the David Lindley and the Tim Buckley, because I want to go after that. Go on.
Yeah, I see a lot of kind of pressure in the vinyl community to, go out and buy, what's the new release.
Sure.
And I'm like, yeah, I tell you what, there are a lot of new releases that do not interest me at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I almost always, frankly, I almost always have a Ricky Lee Jones disc on, actually on my PL518. I've got it, I've got that set up, and it's set up where I'll play, and if I crank it up loud, it just fills the house. And I've almost always got a Ricky Lee Jones, on that.
Yeah, I almost always have Lee Michaels playing, and I wish his hearing wasn't gone, and I wish I could find another artist that was as good as he is. It's true, we gravitate. There's probably like 50 records, comes to the Desert Island thing. I bet there's 50 records in your collection that you would love to hear when you're listening to something that's challenging you, or you're not as interested, or you regret buying.
Oh, well, yeah. I did a video on my 16 greatest hits, and sitting on my dining room table right now, Elmore James 16 greatest hits, which I've listened to over and over, and I can still drop the needle on that, and it just makes me happy. The first Hound Dog Taylor album, or his Beware the Dog, those just make me happy. I'll listen to that stuff over and over again. Or stuff I've also listened to. I listen to on CD more because that's how I got it. But Golden Smog's Weird Tales album, man, you know, and that got me through, you know, that one, I listened to that a bunch through some, you know, through some difficult times. I don't know why, but it was just something that helped me get through there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and or Late for the Sky, Jackson Browne, Late for the Sky, man. I listened to that so many times. So yeah, there'd be some of those like that I just, you know, and I'd snatch up some Dylan, of course, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like, you know, yeah, there's and a lot of it's you know, a lot of the feeling I think is competition, and you know, a lot of it's just, you know, I think there's a fair amount, especially since the vinyl community is heavily male. I think there's a fair amount of sausage fest, dick swinging sort of stuff going on.
Yeah,
and you know, it's part of why, but you know, it's part of why I've done that. You know, the unbearable cheapness of Dan that I do, where I, you know, show cheap record players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, no, you know, you can have something. You know, Manny. You know, Manny. You know, there are a lot of, and it ain't me, and I think they're wrong, but there are people out there who'd poo-poo your ATLP3, and they'd say, oh, well, you at least ought to get a, you know, a Rega planar 3, you know, and you know, stuff like that. You know, I think that's just silly. I think it's just silly. You know, just, you know, you have fun with what you got, enjoy it. You know, hell, life's too short.
Yeah,
man. I tell you, here's, I don't know how to, man. This seems like it fits in, and it's just something that's been going through my head. My little girl's up, and her friend, one of her friends is here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm talking about you, kiddo. Anyway, yeah.
How rude.
I'm getting back chat from my little girl. Anyway, we went to a Pride festival today in the little town of Pine City, which is about half an hour from now. And you know, they're you know, they weren't having it, but they were having a drag queen story hour. And you know, there was a furry there, and we ended up talking with the furry some, and then I talked with Grace's friend about furries and all, and I was like,
"What's a furry, Dan? I don't know what a furry is."
A furry is somebody who dresses in kind of as a furry animal.
Oh yeah. They're in costume, right?
Yeah,
they're in a big bear suit, right, or a rabbit suit,
or yeah, whatever it may be. Yeah, and you know, and I was talking to her. We went out to dinner a little while ago, and I was talking to her about it. I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, look, I get to live my life, and I get to dress the way I want to dress, and, you know, let other people dress the way they want to dress. And, you know, if I, you know, look, you know, folks, you know, you know, look, if you don't like, you know, for instance, if you don't like what I'm putting down on my channel, that's fine. Just don't watch it. You know, you don't like the way I dress. Okay. Don't dress the way I dress, you know? And so, you know, somebody wants to be a furry. That's great. You know, I want them to be, you know, I want the opportunity for myself to be the person, you know, I want to be inside. Right. And let's let other people have that opportunity too. And let's let, you know, that, you know, it seems to me to apply to the vinyl community as well. Okay. Some people want to, you know, I want to talk about Stanley Black and, you know, cheesy music that makes me happy. I listened to some Stanley Black this week, you know, and I have some Burt Camford, you know, it's like, yeah, that's cheesy music, makes me happy. It's just, it's not challenging or anything, just nice cheesy music. And, you know, man, I'll tell you, days I don't want to, you know, a lot of days, you know, man, I ain't up for nothing that's gonna, you know, be, you know, make my brain hurt.
Right. After a day of depositions and, you know,
right. And briefs, yeah. And especially I've not been feeling well lately. And man, you know, I get to the end of the day, if, you know, if I can even manage to listen to something,
right.
You know, it's you know, I don't want anything that's, you know, going to be hard. You know, I read Lucinda Williams' memoir. I showed it last week, and I read her memoir, and I've been like, man, I ought to throw in some more Lucinda Williams, but but she's so intense for me. I've been like, as much as I want to listen to her, I mean, that stuff really gets to me. It's like, so no. And it's funny. I can listen to Dylan, but some, like, here's, as I think about it, there's one side of Pirates, the LP Pirates, the Ricky Lee Jones Pirates. It's just a great side of music. And I've gotten now where I don't listen to it because it's like there's one song on there that just kills me every time I hear it, and so it's like I just can't listen to it. It's a great song, about a guy who gets killed by the cops, and leaves a wife and kid, and it's like, man, she wrote that a long time ago, like 81 or something, man, and now it's like, yeah, that's great. But yeah, well, I agree with you, Michael. Let people just, listen to what you want to listen to and share that, share that too. And
I'm afraid I'm going to have to because after this move, I'm going to be pretty skinned.
Well, do they have the serum donation places there? Can you go sell some
blood?
Sell plasma, make a few yen?
I don't think they do. I don't think they do it in exchange for money. They do it in exchange for the gratitude. I think I asked my wife about that. Not that I was serious about doing it, but a lot of times at train stations there are plasma stations. The Red Cross is there. They need blood here. I think it's tough to get Japanese people to give blood as a volunteer. It's tough to get Japanese people to do volunteer stuff. Period. Like, it's weird. It's different.
Well, here, of course, you have the serum centers, the plasma centers, and I have in mind the ideal strip mall.
Yeah,
the world's
record store. Give blood and buy at a record store.
No, it would be because record store is a little high end. No, you have you have your plasma place, and you got to have a
liquor store.
You got to have a tattoo shop. You got to have a tattoo parlor. You got to have a massage parlor that's a little dicey looking. Nail salon.
They're so big. They're so big.
Yeah, nail salon. You got to have, and either a Chinese or Mexican restaurant that's always open, although there's never anybody there.
Oh.
Yeah, one of the fronts, one of the money.
Kind of like the Better Call Saul thing.
Yeah, and you got to have tobacco, e-cigs, and now CBD everywhere.
Right.
So yeah, and a porn shop.
That's the point. So that seems to be the combination. Is that like the ideal? In the States now, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, that's if you can find that. There was in Seattle when I lived there on one of the streets. There was a plasma, liquor store, and porn shop, porn store, and all next to each other. And I was like, man, that's like somebody's idea of heaven.
Well, I think my challenge in the next few weeks is try to figure out how I'm going to do a plein air video. I've tried it twice. Today, I think the sun caused my CPU to get overheated. That's what happened. That's why I couldn't do it.
I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, Michael. Yes.
Oh, you're doubting me. No.
Were there any more questions? I think
that's it. I think that's it. You want to sign off?
Yeah. Well, let's OK, mes enfants, nous disons, vous êtes très jolis.
Manny, always a pleasure.
Et nous vous aimons beaucoup. Et nous disons à vous, nos enfants, au revoir. Et aussi. A bientôt.